Alright people, let's talk about fire eels. They are truly beautiful and have amazing personalities. But the question is, can you keep a fire eel in a community aquarium? Most people will call it a challenge due to the size that they can grow to. However, over this past year, I've kept my fire eel in a community aquarium and she has been thriving, which shows us that it's definitely possible. And people, it is so incredibly rewarding. Now, like I mentioned, my fire eel has been thriving, she's been growing, and honestly, her unique personality is just amazing. She started off in a Roma 200, where she spent a good few months in there, chilling with my rope fish and my ghost knife and the Congo tetras and the African butterfly fish. What else is there? The Synodontis petricolas, the corridoras, and yeah, the fire eel got along with all of them and there was no problems at all. However, like I mentioned before, fire eels do get really big, and I knew I could never keep the fire eel forever in the Roma 200, so eventually I did move her down to my Roma 240, which is much more spacious, and once again she has been thriving in there. Now in this video I'll show you everything that I've learned about its care, behavior and tank setup, along with some fascinating facts about the fire eel that might just make you want one in your own aquarium. Let's just get started. Now, we might as well begin with the basics. Fire eels, or also known as Mastacembulus erythrotania, I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, they are one of the largest spiny eels in the aquarium hobby. Now, despite their names, they're actually not true eels. They're known as spiny eels, which are actually just fish with elongated bodies. But yeah, fire eels have a truly stunning appearance. They have this deep blue color with these red or orange stripes that really makes it look like they're on fire. They really are mesmerizing to watch. Now, I got my fire eel from Fish Planet, and when I first got her, she was tiny. Now, fast forwarding a year, she has grown, but she's actually not as big as I expected her to be at this point. Like, I've seen a full-grown fire eel before, and I know they can get quite big, and I thought that my one would grow quite quickly as well. However, it looks like she hasn't grown that much. Having said that, it can be really difficult to judge the size of your own fish because you see them every single day, which is why I need to start measuring my fish when I first buy them. But yeah, when I compare the footage of when I first got this fire eel compared to now, there's definitely a size difference, but it's not significant, which kind of shows you that if you do want to keep a fire eel and you're worried about the size it can get to, you actually have at least a year, maybe even two, to keep this eel in a fairly decent sized aquarium like a Roma 240. And yeah, for full transparency, that is my plan. I am going to keep this fire eel in my Roma 240 for as long as I can, and then once she gets to a certain size where she might feel uncomfortable in that aquarium, I will be looking to rehome this fish. But yeah, as of right now, she has plenty of space in the Roma 240 and she seems to be so happy. Now, the way my fire eel acted when she was in the Roma 200 compared to the Roma 240, yo, there's definitely a big difference. You see, the Roma 240 has a lot of plants, which means there was a lot of cover, and for most of the day she would swim along the plants and explore the rest of the aquarium, but she never really fully came out and came to greet me at the glass. However, at the Roma 240, even though it's also planted, it's nowhere near as dense as my Roma 200, so there she has much more free swimming space, and she actually comes right to the front and swims in the middle column of the aquarium, which is so amazing to see, man. She is definitely a lot more active in the Roma 240 than she was in the Roma 200. Now, having said that, she did seem very comfortable in the Roma 200 as well. I think it's just a difference in behavior depending on how much hardscape or how much hiding space they have available. Now, fire eels are nocturnal and love to hide during the day, so creating plenty of shaded and secure areas is key to reducing their stress at the start. But like I mentioned, once they actually calm down and they get comfortable, they will come out during the day. And based on my personal experience and what I've been told by other people who also have fire eels, you can create a genuine bond with them to the point where you can actually hand feed them. But yeah, let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about, which is the tank mates. Like I mentioned at the start, there are a lot of people who believe you can't really keep fire eels in a community aquarium due to the huge size that they get when they are adults. However, like I already mentioned, they do take quite a while to get to that size, and you can keep them in a community aquarium for quite a while. And even when they do get bigger, you can still keep them in a community aquarium. You just want to make sure that they are with similar sized fish. So for the size that my one is right now, the fish I kept her with, in the Roma 200 she was with Congo tetras, corridoras, African butterfly fish, rope fish. My ghost knife was in there as well, but I've moved my ghost knife to the 240 now. My Maury eel was in there for a while, my Baisha, although now that I think about it, I already moved the fire eel before I added in the Baisha, so I guess forget about the Baisha. Oh, and the Synodontis petricolus. And yeah, the fire eel got along with all of them. Now in the Roma 240, we have the Bozeman rainbow fish, we also have the archer fish, the stormy catfish, my moray eel is in there now, and once again, my fire eel seems to get along with all of them. There is no aggression at all. And yeah, in overall, my fire eel just seems like a very humble fish. Now, of course, things could change when the fire eel grows bigger, but for now, at this small size, she is doing great. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the feeding now. Now, when you look online or when you speak to other people who keep fire eels, they will tell you that they love shrimps, earthworms and bloodworms. However, for some reason, my fire eel just doesn't go for shrimps. I'm really not sure why, but whenever I feed shrimps into the aquarium, all the other predator fish, they go for it straight away, but my fire eel seems to ignore them. Instead, my fire eel loves bloodworms, earthworms and tubifex worms. So these are the things that I feed my fire eel. However, I'm hoping once the fire eel grows a little bit bigger, she might also go for the shrimps as well. It might just be a size thing for now. Oh, and when it comes to the dry food and things like that, yeah, the fire eel doesn't go for them at all. Not as far as I can see anyway. Now let's talk about some fascinating facts about the fire eel that make them a unique addition to your aquarium. Now I guess the first one isn't really a fact, but more of a warning. But yeah, fire eels are very notorious for being escape artists. Even the smallest gap in your lid is an open invitation for them, so make sure your tank lid is tightly covered. But yeah, the second fact is they have very sensitive skin. Unlike most fish, fire eels are scaleless, making them more prone to injuries and infections. You want to avoid sharp decorations and you want to stay on top of your water maintenance or tank maintenance to keep a good water quality. Now unfortunately, my one does have a few injuries on her tail. They are very visible and I believe it's due to the amount of rocks I have in there, so I am going to keep a close eye on her. If she does get any more injuries, then I may have to consider taking out some of the hardscape. However, right now I can only see a few injuries on her tail, which are also quite recent. So she was alright for quite a few months in that aquarium, and it's only recently I've noticed some injuries on her tail. So yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on her and see what could potentially cause these injuries. Now the next quick fact is their lifespan. Fire eels can live for a very long time. They can live for over 10 years, making them a long-term commitment. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you are looking to buy a fire eel. They will be with you for a very long time. And the last quick fact I want to tell you guys is their intelligence. Fire eels are incredibly intelligent, and you can really see that when you go to the aquarium and once they've gotten comfortable. Like, my fire eel genuinely recognizes me, and whenever I walk past the aquarium, she comes out straight to the glass and says hello, hoping to be fed. And it looks like she trusts me enough to actually eat from my hand as well. And this is what allows owners to create an actual bond with the fire eel. So yeah, I thought I'd just mention that in there. I think I've already mentioned it a few times in this video, but yeah, they're very intelligent and you can build a real bond with them. Now just to cover everything, I'll quickly talk on my tank maintenance. In my Roma 200, every 2 weeks I do a small water change, and about every month or every 2 months I do a bigger water change, around 40%, and that routine seems to keep my aquariums and all of my fish nice and healthy. In regards of temperature, I keep my aquariums at 26 degrees Celsius, and once again the fire eel seems to thrive in that temperature. But yeah, keeping this fire eel has been such a rewarding experience, and if you are also looking to keep one, I really hope that this video was able to give you a better idea of what it's like to look after a fire eel. Now like I mentioned before, I got this fire eel from Fish Planet, and if you want to see the day I picked her up, then click right here.